She knows exactly what she's doing. That's why she purposely creates confusion, so you have to start managing her behavior. So instead of looking at what she actually did, you're asking, okay, why did she say that? Why did she do that? What do I need to do now? Did I overreact? Is she mad? That's why sometimes women will give you the silent treatment or be like, oh, I'm fine. And I notice this type of thinking gets a lot of men stuck, because instead of asking, is this relationship actually good for me? You're more worried about how she's acting and what that means and how that affects you. She'll give you just enough honesty to sound self-aware. I know of a lot of women like this. She'll admit small things to make it seem like she's that type of woman that's actually capable of accountability. And then you get really excited, not realizing she's not actually being accountable. She might say things like, I know I'm not perfect. I know I have issues. I know I can be distant sometimes. But she admits this stuff, but she doesn't actually change these things. And I would argue her knowing is worse, because she knows, but she's choosing to not change. Next, she'll make you feel like the relationship is just one conversation away from improving. It may be a living nightmare for you to be in this relationship, but it's just this one last thing and then everything will be good. If I explain better, she'll understand. If she knows how much she's hurting me, she'll finally change. But stop for a second. Does she benefit by not understanding? Because if she does, and you've told her all the info, she knows. She knows. Are there consequences to her not having any empathy towards you? I know that sounds horrible. Because some people, if a situation benefits them, empathy goes out the window. They'll keep doing it because they're benefiting. Because there's no consequences to them doing it. Or the consequences are small enough that, oh well. So if this is happening to you, explaining more is not going to fix it. You leaving will. And at that point, you find someone with empathy, not her.
If you're not approaching women, you're not playing it safe. You're missing opportunities. Men avoid approaching because it feels risky. But let's tell the truth. Only 3 things will happen. 1, she's into it. You talk. You connect. Maybe something actually happens. 2, she's not. You get rejected. Cool. You survived. Your life doesn't crumble. 3, she says, I have a boyfriend, and you walk away like a man who actually knows what he wants. That's it. Those are the outcomes. So the real risk? Not approaching and staying invisible.
You know, I see why men are staying single, because look around. We have women out here bragging about not cooking, not cleaning, not taking care of their home, not being soft, and not being supportive. And then expecting a man to show up as a provider, leader, planner, protector, and lover, while giving him absolutely nothing in return. And yes, I will be the one to say it. A home needs a woman who actually enjoys being a woman. A woman who takes pride in making her home feel warm and peaceful. A woman who loves her man in the same way that she wants to be loved. That is not oppression, that is care. Men are tired of being treated like a walking wallet. Tired of disrespect. Tired of begging for affection and a little peace. So, they are choosing to stay single, not because they hate women, but because they are looking for a woman that values her role just as much as his. And honestly, I don't blame them, because relationships only work when both people show up and give.
Problem isn't that women are now independent. It's that men are not. A working husband comes home to a cooked meal, and a working wife comes home to cook the meal. The phrase independent men does not exist because men have not yet broken free from their dependence on women.
I can't find any fault in that anywhere.
I mean, yeah, if you really think about it, you think about the term like what independent woman means, right? Usually it's that they can financially provide for themselves and they're independent. But men aren't independent often because they can't provide for their own labor.
Okay, so women are considered independent when they can do for themselves what otherwise a man would do.
Right.
So then men would be considered independent using the same standard as when we can do for ourselves what we're accustomed to women doing for us.
Right.
Which would be what? Cooking,
cleaning, child rearing.
I was going to say hands-on parenting and stuff. Huh. Wow.
Right?
Wow. Wow.
You want to know why men pick younger women? It's not because they're prettier. It's not because they're easier. It's because older women have forgotten how to be feminine. Yes, I said it. See, younger women still have something that a lot of older women have lost along the way. That is softness, admiration, and the ability to actually receive a man's energy instead of competing with it. Older men do not want to fight every day. They do not want to be your emotional punching bag or your therapist. They want peace. They want a woman who listens, who is grateful, who still sees the man in front of her instead of resenting him for the ones in her past. And no, this does not apply to everybody. There are exceptions, but I am talking about the rule. When a younger woman walks in with light, feminine energy, and a willingness to follow, it feels refreshing to a man who has been carrying the world on his back. It's not about a number on her driver's license. It is about her energy. A woman in her 40s who's done the inner work, who leads with softness and respects masculine energy, she will always win. But if we're being honest, most don't. And that's exactly why men go for younger girls.
The reason why men are no longer approaching women has nothing to do with him not being attracted to you. Trust me, he's attracted, and he's not even that worried about rejection. Because even though that hurts, he can move on from it pretty quickly. The real problem is when he forms a connection with a woman that seems to be interested. So what does he do? He's excited for the potential. He's pouring his effort in. He feels desired. He's spending a lot of time talking to her, and he's even starting to become vulnerable. But what happens after a few weeks of all the emotional effort, the months of dates, or even the years of commitment, is that she decides to end the connection. Oftentimes, out of nowhere, the man literally has no idea what made her change her mind. And whether it's because she felt like he wasn't even good enough to try with, or if it was because she found someone better, it all hurts the same. That man simply feels played. And this honestly happens from dating onto long-term relationships, including marriage. So you tell me, why would he do that again?
All right, so people love calling it punishment when they finally have to live with the consequences of their own behavior. They'll say, oh, you need to let it go. Oh, you're just being petty. Oh, you're punishing me now. No, I'm responding to what happened. You see, consequences and punishment are not the same thing, and I'm going to explain it to you like you're 5. Punishment is something I do to you. A consequence is something your behavior created, right? You lost my trust because you broke it. You lost access because you lost a relationship because you neglected it. That is not revenge, my guy. That is reality. And here's where people get it twisted about accountability, because they think the consequence should end the moment that they feel bad, or the moment that they apologize, or the moment that they are uncomfortable, right? But accountability does not erase consequences, right? It will ask you to live with them. Okay, if every consequence disappeared the second that you say sorry, then your apology didn't cost you anything. And accountability is always going to cost something. It's going to cost you your comfort. It's going to sometimes cost you your reputation, right? Sometimes it's going to cost you access to the person you hurt. That is not punishment. That is the price of broken trust. And if you call every boundary a punishment, then you're never going to take responsibility for why the boundary had to exist in the first place.
My body count is 1,572. And so I don't think body count should matter, to be honest. Like, I don't know. I've heard a lot of numbers and it just doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Are you speechless?
Yeah, just kind of said you're
Excuse me, you can't shame people because of their body count.
1,500, whatever the
72. 72.
That's insane. I'm gonna keep it real.
Just say you're jealous.
Yeah, I'm so jealous.
I don't think being a virgin matters because, again, same with body count, like it doesn't really affect anything. But I feel like there is a stigma around like once you take someone's virginity, like they're obsessed and crazy about you. So maybe that would kind of make me not want to do that.
I mean, you could teach me some things. I don't think I would be crazy over you, but...
I mean, you can also use Google and learn a lot.
God, she's dodging me left and right. My body count's 0, but I wouldn't say body count really matters to me. Unless you're in the double digits, then that's crazy.
Oh, it's okay. I'm in quadruple digits, so we're good.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
The dishes.
I mean, like, what do you like to do for fun?
For fun. Laundry? So what do you do for work?
I work in finance.
My body counts.
What? Yeah. So I work at what are you doing right now?
Scratching. I don't know. I'm kind of flexible.
All right.
I can make banana bread too.
And this is when once again, we listen to stuff. It sounds good, but then it's stupid. And we got men out here co-signing to stupid stuff. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. No, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense at all. At all. Oh, well, that's why men aren't independent, because, when they break free of a woman, that's when they're going to be independent. Who said that? Who said that? It was a woman who said that. So once again, modern women want men to go by their standard. They don't want to meet in the middle. It's how I feel about it. It's what I think about it. Don't matter if it's right. It's what I think. Don't matter if I'm just talking stupid. It's what I think. I can't find any fault in that. That's because you're not thinking. That's because modern women, they're able to say stuff and it sounds great. But then once you really think about it, it's like, man, that's kind of stupid. That's kind of shallow. That's kind of short-sighted. A lot of times modern women say things from their perspective, what they think, and they don't really consider what the man does. And when they do consider it, they put it, oh, well, that all kind of goes together. So it's not really that big of a deal, right? So I'm independent because I get the things done on the things that I want to get done. I get them done. The things that I think are important, I get them done. I thought it was important to go to Target today, and I did that. Plus I picked up the kids. Plus I cooked dinner. Well, what did you cook for dinner? Well, that doesn't really matter. No, what did you cook? A frozen pizza and some frozen French fries that you stuck in the oven for 20 minutes. It's not really dinner. Anybody can do that. As a matter of fact, y'all have been exposing yourselves with this girl dinner trend where you're eating tortilla chips, some salsa, and some chicken nuggets. All of that took 5 minutes, including prep time. We talking about here. Man, they not really doing it like they saying they doing it. That's what I'm saying.
She out earns her husband financially, and do you really believe women can truly respect men they outperform?
Yes, because respect shouldn't be based on the amount of money that you make. Anyone that knows anything about life knows it goes up and it goes down. And we could pray that it's on an upward trajectory, but there will be changes and shifts that happen. And if it's money that makes you lose attraction to your husband, you never loved him in the first place. That's more about his position than who he is. You love him as long as his position is paying the bills. But do you love him if he's just your husband? If you are losing attraction because you have to be the primary breadwinner, you were never in this for real. I understand what that means to be scared. I understand what that means of trying to figure it out. I understand what it means to be frustrated or angry because your lifestyle is changing. But you can't be mad at your husband because life happened. That's not fair. It's not fair to him. It's not fair to y'all. It's not fair to the children. It's not fair to everything that you've built in the past. Right now, in this moment of uncertainty, that's the difference between a wife and a woman that's just married. A married person says, oh my God, what are we going to do? Says, how could you possibly let this happen? And says, oh wow, we're struggling. A wife says, okay, I see what's happening. What are we going to do about it? Okay, I understand we're not in our best area right now. What's our exit strategy? What are we leaning into? What's our game plan? What can I do? What do you need from me? That's the difference. Too many people are getting married for position instead of actually embodying who it is you have to be in that position.
So is that why men are choosing success over family?
Of course. At least the money, you get to buy no responsibility with the baddies. That'll give you everything for nothing. I understand why men choose to be single.
Statistically speaking, men are 5 times more likely to leave their wives over this one specific thing, and it's not. There's a recent study published from the Journal of Marriage and Family with over 25,000 straight married couples over an 18-year period span, and they found that when the husband got sick, the couple often stayed together. But when the wife got sick, the marriage was more likely to end. Ironically, in 2009, there was another study done in cancer that found a huge difference in gender rates when it came to partner abandonment when married couples faced terminal illnesses. They found that when the husband was diagnosed with some sort of terminal illness or disease or a tumor, cancer, sclerosis, anything along the lines of that nature, the divorce rates didn't really change. But when the wife was diagnosed with these same things, the husband was 5 times more likely to leave her. And according to Bella DePaulo, who's a social psychologist, is a very interesting reason as to why this tends to happen in marriages. And it's likely because when a woman is diagnosed with these things, now she has an inability to take care of not just herself, but also her partner. And according to Bella DePaulo, it's not so much about the disease, but more so about the generals. Because when a woman is faced with severe illnesses, a tumor, cancer, now she has an inability to perform everyday tasks around the house. And this means no cooking, no cleaning. So when these things are not provided for the husband likely sees it as a sign to get out of there. And even though nowadays women make up nearly half of the workforce, they're still getting home and doing the majority of the labor in the house. So now not only do they have a 9-to-5, but they're also getting home and cooking, cleaning, doing homework with the children, putting them to sleep, etc. So in short words, many husbands don't have a problem accepting the unconditional love that a woman could give him for years on end. But the moment that this wife can no longer physically serve him, a lot of husbands will see it as a reason to not stick around. And according to these studies, it happens a lot. It's not every man, but it is a huge percentage of them.
Yeah, women dress up for each other, not to impress men. Science proves it.
Crazy how women will quite literally completely change their mentality based off of just wanting to win an argument, right? For years they've been saying, for years, oh, we don't do it for men, we do it for ourselves. But the second that a man says, hey, you don't dress up for men, you dress up for you. No, we actually dress up for men. We dress to impress men. We've always done it to impress men. We want to get the attention. It's actually been true all along. Am I right now? Like, a woman will literally snitch on herself just to win the argument at hand. Doesn't matter if it disproves all of the other arguments she's ever addressed in the past. As long as she wins this argument, she'll make sure to tell you what the truth is to prove you wrong.
I did not realize how hated black men were by black women until I did my series. My husband was raised by a single mom, and this is what I've learned. And then I did another video, Black Men in Therapy, and the comments from black women, wow, color me surprised. I kept receiving comments full of skepticism from men saying, are you really trying to give us grace? Are you really trying to understand us? And when I saw the women comment, I went, oh, wow, now it's starting to click. And it saddened me, but I now understand. And a lot of them brought up generalizations about black men creating broken homes and leaving more baby mamas and babies out there. But I feel like millennials and Gen Z are swinging the pendulum the other way from Xers and boomers because they're trying to be in their children's lives. They're not trying to have these broken homes. They're trying to make it work with their partners. So now I understand comments like this, but I'm a big advocate for all men's healing.
Men that have rich in their future are not looking for women who are still addicted to the club scene. Men who know where they're going are not wasting time entertaining women still in the nightlife. Because a man with vision is not impressed by the loud room. Instead, he's drawn to the quiet woman with purpose, the one who does not need attention for validation. See, a woman who's still addicted to the scene will pull a high-value man into distractions. But a woman who's building something will push that same man into his God-ordained destiny. If you want a high-level life, you need a high-level partner, not someone who needs a crowd just to feel alive. So fellas, focus on becoming the man God is pleased with. Because when you know your worth, you stop trying to convince anyone else of it. Instead, you simply keep moving and the right woman will meet you on your level.
I've talked to over 2,000 girls from 45 plus states, 30 plus countries, and I'm telling you, the hardware might look different, but the software is almost always the same. A lot of these girls are indoctrinated, and you gotta remind them that you're better than them in every regard to get the respect. You need to go back to work and get more gym badges because these girls are disrespecting you, and they do it all the time. All right, guys? I'm telling y'all, man, stop being simps. These guys on YouTube that are giving y'all advice or whatever, they don't know what the they're talking about. Because not only are we here in Miami, where the girls are the most hypergamous, we're in the West, we're dealing with the craziest whoriest of these, okay? But we've been around as well and dealt with other girls. No one is giving y'all a better view of contemporary dating than us. These tradcons, with all due respect, don't know what the they're talking about. That's why I get so mad, because they're over here giving you bad advice. They're telling you walk down an aisle with a that quite frankly doesn't deserve it. That's why I get so mad and passionate about this. Because no one else tells y'all the truth about these hoes. There's a reason why we're the #1 podcast in the world when it comes to men, because we are willing to tell you guys at the penalty of being canceled how the world really works when it comes to dealing with these modern day women. Stop being a simp.
One of the highest honors that a man can bestow onto a woman is the title of wife. Not every woman wants to be a wife, but they cannot become wives on their own. Somebody needs to ask, right? Now, on the other side of that, one of the highest honors that women can bestow onto men is the title of father. Not every man wants to be a father, but they cannot become fathers on their own. Now that we understand that both of these things are of very high value, ladies, I'm gonna need us to raise our standards, because I'm seeing a lot of kids and not a lot of engagement announcements. And that is never something I will advocate for, especially when that saga typically ends with you all coming online to complain to us that the father isn't doing enough, when in reality, he probably didn't want to become a father. And we know that he didn't want you to be his wife. So most of us don't want to hear it. Like, I don't. Y'all gotta stop just trusting these men at their word. That he said he was gonna be around. If he really wanted to, he would have asked you to marry him. And we all know that. Apparently, except for you.
I've been married for 20 years, with my husband for 25, and we have 5 teenagers. Here's some marriage advice that might seem a little bit strange. You need to pay special attention to all the things that annoy you about your partner. Now, hear me out. The best way to stop those annoyances from getting between you two is to turn them into humor. So pay close attention to the things about your partner that make you roll your eyes, that just get under your skin, that annoy you so much, and figure out a way to make them funny. My husband and I tease each other all the time about the silly little things that annoy us. Like, he always tells me, "Do you work for the light company?" when I leave the lights on in the closet. And when he repeats his stories that he's told 1,000 times, I repeat them too, like they're a movie trailer, and it makes him laugh. What happens is the annoyance softens. It becomes an inside joke instead of a point of tension. You're still naming the thing that drives you crazy, but instead of creating distance, it creates connection. And in a long marriage, that shift is everything.
What's 100 minus 34?
100 minus 34?
Yeah. No help.
76.
No. Do you want to guess again?
100 minus 34.
100 minus 34. How much is that?
Oh,
Guess.
76.
5 seconds. You're wrong. 5 seconds. Guess the next.
100 minus 34.
Yeah. What is it?
Maybe like 56?
What's 3 times 3 times 3?
18.
12. 9.
And so once again, it's always, I mean, we sit up here and we talk about women are leaving relationships when they file for divorce. Let's say divorce rate is about 50%. 70% of the time, 80% of the time, it's the woman filing. And then when we look at that, you say, well, you know, she left because of commitment issues and because the man was cheating. Has the woman ever cheated? No, I haven't. I'm faithful. I'm loyal to my man. You're faithful and loyal to your man while talking about what you would do to Usher and what you would allow Usher to do to you. One woman got online recently and she had a weird look on her face because essentially Usher wasn't the man that she wanted. She wanted Chris Brown to be doing all that stuff to her. And I think the woman had a boyfriend. That is cheating. But that same woman would leave a relationship after acting like that, talking about men have commitment issues and men are cheating. They're not loyal to the relationship. But then we pull out this stat. We pull out this stupid stat. Husbands are 5 times more likely to leave their wives over, I think it was a terminal illness. When they went back and they looked at it and they said that test had a lot of errors. Those tests that they did had a lot of errors and they were incorrect. Man, it's really hard. You can't make it up. It's always a man's fault in some situation.
My neighbor has been battling with his ex-wife over custody and child support for about 6 months. And just as he was getting ready to win and have custody of his daughter, and she was going to be put on child support and supervised visitation, she pulled out the I want a DNA test. And I'm going to have you guys know, this wasn't even his daughter, and she knew all along. She was just trying to screw him over, remove him from this child's life, put him on child support.
Look, I'm not saying that women shouldn't be able to vote, but I do think that women should be held accountable. Because why? Time and time again, is it just acceptable for a woman to take advantage of a man through the family court system? And this happens because, first of all, there's no prevention of it. There's no DNA test that is forced upon that woman upon the birth of that child, which is a very simple solution. Second of all, even if you don't like the DNA test idea, the problem is that women can be extremely deceptive, especially when it comes to what they want and desire for their child. They, in their opinion, can decide that another man is a better father figure for their child, and they essentially will cut off the biological father, whether that's through deceiving both of those men or just through one man. It is pretty terrible. Bottom line, there is just not enough accountability for it, because a woman can do this and then she is forgiven by the family court system. But even though there's literally no legal repercussions placed on that woman, I think that we can all agree that she is not a good mom.
I'm not at all saying that it's okay for women to disrespect men.
It's always in your best interest to filter through the information you receive. Viewer discretion is advised.
It's not okay for men to disrespect women. It's not okay for women to disrespect men. All I'm saying is if as a man you want your girl to respect you, you have to lead. And you have to create boundaries from the start of the relationship.
Okay, we're about 12 seconds in. So far, so good. I think she's off to a good start. Let's see what else she got to say.
The moment she started that rah-rah, hooting and hollering, screaming and cussing at you, you tell her straight like this, hey, shawty, I'm not finna argue with you. If you're not able to have a reasonable conversation, call me later. I'm not about to argue with you. And if she keep on, hang up.
Okay, well, that was short-lived. Well, why does she have to be hooting, hollering, and screaming and cursing at me to begin with? I think the part that we need to address is that she's verbally that man. There's no need for her to take that approach. Her being verbally and unreasonable has nothing to do with his leadership. It says more about her than it does about him. Not to mention, when a woman has a high level of respect for you, there will be no hooting and hollering at her cursing you out. You won't ever have to face anything like that because she respects you. I find it quite interesting that she would brush past that woman's low level of respect and irrational tendencies towards that man. But let's see what else she got to say.
She gonna be blowing up. She gonna be blowing up your phone, blowing up your phone. Don't answer. Give it a couple hours. After a couple hours, call her. Be like, hey, baby, you in a better mood? Most likely she gonna say yes because she probably felt like you was gonna cut her off, and then be like, okay, now what can I do to make things better?
What can I do to make things better? So I just got done getting cursed out by this woman. And my response to her should be, what can I do to make things better? Are we ever going to address the underlying issue about how she responds to me when she feels some type of way about something? This is exactly why you must filter the information you receive online, because they will feed you some shit. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't think the woman in this video had any ill intent. I just think this is how she understands relationships to be. But I am here to tell her this is a very the way to go about being in a relationship with somebody, because you're not actually addressing the root issue. You're just pacifying her behavior and validating the issue at hand. This does not teach her to respect you. This does not teach her to take a different approach. All it says is that she can be whoever she wants to be towards you. And all that's going to happen is you're going to take a couple hours to yourself, and then you're going to come back and ask her, well, what can I do to make things better? Who the told you that works? Fellas, let me get y'all the real. Taking an approach like that will never get a woman to respect you or your leadership style. All it tells her is that you're a punching bag and you're willing to take whatever she throws your way, which over time easily turns into you being a pushover. And trust me, if it's one thing women do not like, unless they're is a pushover. If you can't have a civilized conversation with your woman without it coming to hooting and hollering and her cursing you out just because she feels some type of way, leave her ass right where she stand. That is not a woman you want to be with. But you know what? You ain't got to listen to what I'm saying, because I'm just a normal guy. Yeah, keep the change.
If you're getting ghosted, 99% of the time, men confirm, It's probably because the chase is over. It's not because you're not pretty enough. It's not because you're not funny enough. It's not because you texted him first. It's not because you did too much or you did too little. I mean, I get it. I've been there. I have taken being ghosted so personally before. They don't like me. Why don't they like me? And then it makes you want this person even more when really the chase is over because their ego was validated. Now they need to see if they can get someone else to validate them as well. Nothing to do with you. And this is where we get in our heads because we feel like if we were just a little bit better, he would like us enough to not want to let us go, to want to stick around, to not need that next girl. Honestly, this might even be a controversial opinion, but sometimes I think it's okay to sleep with a man. Do it on the first date. Because if that is his goal all along, if you get it out of the way early on, you're going to see what his real intentions are. Versus if you continue to go on a couple of dates, it's just going to make the chase that much more intriguing to him, and he's going to be putting in that much more effort, only to switch up after that happens. And when we invest more time, more energy, it gives us that much more to replay in our minds and go over again and again and again and wonder where we went wrong. When no, we didn't go wrong, okay? He went wrong because he's insecure and he needs a therapist.
Men stopped yearning. Men don't yearn anymore.
And what exactly are they supposed to be yearning for? Quite frankly, I can't see a lot of men yearning after most modern women, especially taking into consideration how a lot of them act.
That's what women want. All they want is to be yearned for.
Oh yes, that's all women want, is to be yearned for. But if we take a look at social media, a lot of women out there are going to want men to chase them to see who can line up to pay their bills so they won't actually have to do anything on their own.
Why do you think Mr. Darcy is such a sought-after gentleman, sir?
They mean the fictional gentleman that was written by a woman for women. Okay.
Why do you think women are reading these fantasy novels about men who are literally crawling out of their grave to get to her?
Do you think a lot of those women possess the same character traits as the heroines in those novels? Probably not. That's why it's called fiction. Fantasy.
That's what women want. It's really not that hard, y'all.
Just a thought, and this might come across a bit harsh, but this goes for men as well as women. In order for someone to be desired, they first have to be desirable.
Went to a singles mixer, and only women showed up.
Duh. Like, why? Okay, dudes who get women wouldn't go to a mixer because they already get women. They just exist and they get women. And then dudes who don't get no women, they're not going to go to a rejection buffet. They already taking L's in the DMs and on the streets and everywhere else.
I can't even lie. And he's really telling some truth in there. And this is coming from a guy that was going to those singles mixers. Those events can get really interesting. Especially for me being new to the dating scene and stuff like that. It was always weird for me to go to an event and it'd be like 30 women and only maybe like 6 dudes. So statistically, you're like, oh, the odds are in my favor, but it's a lot going on. One, you have to have confidence to be in that situation. So if you ever have any esteem issues or anything like that, you will not thrive in that environment. And the second thing is, and I'll say for me, it was always a thought, okay, one, is there anybody here that actually is catching my eye that's physically attractive? Because that's, to be honest, at some of these events, it's not a lot of it. So she's physically attractive for one. Does she have good energy? Okay, cool. Now, is there anybody else? Because if I talk to this girl, that's probably going to X out my ability to talk to this other girl because they've all seen there's only maybe 4 to 6 men here. So they're keeping an eye out for us in these environments too. So if I talk to her, that's probably going to any chance I have with anybody else in the room. Or else I'm going to keep hearing, so what made you choose me? I saw you talking to the other girl. And that's not something we want to do. So that's the stuff that goes through my mind when I was going to those events.
Explain to me what blueprint these women should follow.
I think there's too many women encouraging and telling other women to be hoes and not good women. A lot of people listening to baddies, not knowing that most baddies are...
Hey, I'm with you.
Am I lying?
Not at all.
Most baddies can be bought. Most baddies are going to say, take me to Marcel. I want to have the caviar. I need to have the steak dinner. I need the whatever. And then you're going home and you're having with that man. You are worth a steak dinner. What blueprint is it that you want to follow? Is that the life that you want to live? Probably not. Unless you just want to be fun. And there's nothing wrong with fun. The problem with fun is if your business of fun ever gets out there, and oftentimes it does, because these circles are very, very small. If you've slept with everybody in the circle, no one will take you serious. You And now you just forfeited your husband because the bro code says I'm not taking. Now, are there exceptions to the rule? Yes. Most of us are not the exception.
Oh my God. Did you guys hear about the male therapist that worked at the juvenile hall that 15-year-old girl, and then he got arrested, but then immediately let out on bail, and then the girl that he also got let out of jail, and now she's missing. Sorry, I'm actually screwing up the details. It was a female therapist that worked at a male juvenile hall. The male got released. She got sent to jail for like a day, got let out on bail, and this little boy is now missing. The police suspect that he's hiding out with her, and surprise, surprise, I haven't seen one feminist, not one content creator talk about this. Why? Could it be because the perpetrator is a woman, and we only care when the victims are girls?
You know, modern women, they never seem to arrive at the right conclusion. There was one woman talking about, just go ahead and, just sleep with the man on the first date in order for you to be able to see what he's up to, in order for you to be able to see what he's doing. Just go ahead and sleep with him on the first date so you can get that out of the way. You keep on doing that. That's how y'all keep on getting bamboozled. That's how you keep on ending up where you are right now. And you're going to get mad, but you're doing it to yourself over and over again. You're not doing the right thing. You're going to find yourself out there being bamboozled over and over again. Well, if I basically trying to beat him to the chase, instead of playing these games with these men, just leave them alone. That's what I'm saying. Y'all talk about men need to get better at vetting. So do you. Stop getting bamboozled. Stop trying to beat somebody to the punch. If they're not treating you right, if they're showing, you're not even asking questions. It's actually what's happening. Not even asking questions. And when you do ask questions, that's the wrong questions. You're asking about how much money he makes instead of his character. And then that's how you get into bed with them. Well, it was just a vibe because he took me out for steak and lobster. Act like I've never had steak and lobster before. Pumped and dumped. And now I got another body. Do it again, and I got another body. Do it again, I got another body, and I got 10. Can't figure out why men keep on ghosting me. Well, the chase is over. Yeah, the chase is over after you found out your body count's 10.
Not all men. Oh, yippee. Another false equivalence analogy that is going to try to be used to justify why some women and men dislike all men. So let's hear it.
But if I gave you a box of Whoppers and I told you that 1 out of every 10 of them was actually a piece of human rolled into a ball and dipped in chocolate, you'd be wary of all of them. Would you not? That's what I thought.
What a lovely thought that must have been. However, there is another thought that I would like to point out that I'm sure didn't occur to a great many of you that happen to agree with that video and its particular analogy. By agreeing with statements like that, essentially there's a great many of you promoting prejudice and possible discrimination against entire groups of people. Reason being, you are using the actions of some members of that group to justify your wariness or prejudice against the entire group of people. Might I point out, a great many of you wouldn't like that if it was based on skin color, or if that argument was used against women, because I might add there are a lot of women that commit very horrendous crimes. Ironically, it's not usually given as much attention.
Women date for their ego. It's not for companionship. No, it's not. It's not for companionship. It is for social climbing, not true relationship building.
So you telling me you wouldn't agree that men date for their ego?
No, I don't. I think men actually want love. I think men actually want to feel safe. I think they're just
men don't even believe they should be happy in relationships. So I highly doubt that.
No, men are just so used to and conditioned into not being happy and not being able to be vulnerable and not being able to feel safe that now that's the projection and the safety mechanism that they've created for themselves. Men have true coping mechanisms in relationships because women date for ego. Because if that's the case, I bet you right now, every woman under the sound of my voice that is single right now, that even hears this, or any woman that this gets sent to, I guarantee you that woman right now has 3 or 4 men that would love to be with her. Would absolutely love to, especially if she hasn't even had kids yet, but she is overlooking these good men that are right around her because she's looking for the bigger, better deal. That ain't even checking for her, or might make her one of the placeholders on his roster.
Women always want you when you don't want them.
Why women only want men who do not want them?
Because you just don't care. You don't want her no more. You're not trying.
These are men who are demonstrating internal strength, internal courage. And because of that, these women not only gain respect for these men, but they also become attracted to them.
When a woman plays some foolishness with you, cut you off, move on. And trust me, she will text you.
The scary reality is the less you do, the more successful you'll be with women, especially hot women.
They can't help themselves to just go after a guy who just don't want them anymore. They can't help it.
Women just don't have any respect for guys who supplicate to her, guys who fall under her beautiful woman spell. Women have no respect for these guys.
When you remove your attention, remove your time, remove your energy, now she want to be with you.
They want you when you don't.
This headline from The Hill, it caught my eye. Most young men are single. Most young women are not. Nearly half of all young adults are single. Now, look at these numbers. 34% of women, twice as many, a whopping 63% of men. What explains that? The report said men in their 20s are more likely than women in their 20s to be romantically uninvolved, dormant, friendless, and lonely. They stand at the vanguard of an epidemic of declining marriage, sexuality, and relationships that afflicts all of young America. Other troubling statistics about men come from a 2021 study from the Survey Center for American Life. They found the share of men who have 6 or more close friends, which in 1990 was 55%, by 2021 had shrunk by half. Meanwhile, those with literally 0 close friends, which stood at 3% in 1990, has zoomed to 15%.
If you understood how easy girls make it for the guys they actually want, you would never chase another woman again. Now, I'm not saying that men are the prize. I'm not saying women should chase men. I'm saying there's a big difference between chasing and pursuing. Because when a woman actually wants you, she replies, she shows up, she makes time. She makes it very clear. That's the woman that you pursue. Someone who's going to let you take the initiative, let you take that lead. You're not guessing, you're not forcing anything, and you're not overthinking. The problem is a lot of men have never experienced this. As a result, they double text, they triple text, they overthink, they overanalyze. They keep trying to prove themselves to someone who's already made their mind up about them. Most women are not going to be direct with you. They're not going to say no, but their actions will tell you. If it feels hard, difficult, confusing, she just doesn't want you. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you stop chasing people who are never going to choose you.
If I was a man, I wouldn't want to approach none of these girls either.
Did modern conversations around consent make men more hesitant to approach women?
I think that men are not approaching women anymore because women don't know how to just be women. Like the femininity is almost non-existent these days.
Yes, sir.
Because women don't put themselves, like literally, like you were just saying, take. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole mindset of like, oh, I'm just gonna get a nigga and he got a bag and this and that. Like it's taken away from the authenticity of just actually meeting somebody, liking them and seeing what you guys can build and grow together. If it's gonna be all about a bag and then we're not coming to the table with anything of substance, why would a man approach you? And I do feel like us as women need to take some accountability as to why that's not happening. We do be acting real harsh. We do be acting real, like it's just very aggressive. And then even it's at a point where women are like approaching men and like, oh, like basically trying to take they like give them the dick, like that's all I want from you and da 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 da. And unfortunately, it's because, you know, it's a psychological thing. We feel like that's all the men want from us. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna beat you at your own game. I don't even want you anyway. All I'm trying to do is get whatever the case may be. And that is just fucking ridiculous to me. So I think that it's gonna be hard. If I was a man, I wouldn't want to approach none of these girls either.
Okay. All right.
Because what is y'all doing?
But go ahead.
There are a group of women, because the thing that I do want to say is not all men are the same, not all women are the same.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was saying, where's your accountability as far as the type of women that you are approaching and talking to? Because if they don't have a certain type of mindset, you're not going to get that from them. You're going to meet the same woman in every single person.
Most of the men that I know, they have a handful of women that they sleep with, and they just rotate the same women with no commitment, and they don't have to. I don't think men are out here just one night standing left and right, left and right, left and right.
Surprised, sir.
Well, I don't know.
No, I think it's
I don't
what
think
Sarah
so.
says. You build out your
roster.
correct,
And then you have the same people that you deal with.
and then you'll restructure every now and again.
And those are the placeholders.
Yeah.
They think they're going to be the wife. They probably think that they are because you spend the night, she spends the night, she's cooking for you, she's cleaning for you. You might give her money every now and then, but you are just doing what you do as a man. That does not mean that that woman is special. And it's not until a woman does something special like abstain where you might actually have your interest piqued. But I'll tell you what will absolutely destroy interest: sleeping with a man on the first night. For the majority of men, the majority of time. Am I lying?
I don't think there's not. I'm a vibe person, so I don't think there's nothing wrong.
Majority
with
of the time.
You got it. You got it.
Okay, I'm complete. A lot of these female friends that women have, they don't want what's best for you. They want what you have. My husband's fine or whatever, you know. But
Okay.
honestly, I think
Quiet
because
flick.
I have him, women are more interested in trying to humble me than actually wanting him.
That's facts.
They want you when they know they can't have you because it's for ego. They want to be able to say, well, he was in my DMs and he was this and he was talking to me at that party and he this and he that. It's not even about him. It's about the fact that women want to be able to brag about themselves to other women. They want to one up other women. It's not even a matter of like, I just want to be happy. I want to one up other women, even at the detriment of your happiness. You know you don't feel good sleeping with no married man. You know you don't feel good being a side chick to somebody you know.
No, there's
has a
women who are
girlfriend.
proud side
No,
chicks.
you know you're not happy about it. You might be happy about what you're getting, but like literally, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are women that are proud side chicks, and there's a special place
Yeah,
in
so
hell for
because they
those
leave
people.
the hard part to the wife. They just get the
I mean,
and
it
the
is
money
it
and
is
they
what
go
it is.
on.
All I know is a lot of these women out here just want what another woman has. They just want to be able to
Yeah,
say,
I
look
agree.
at me, I've been chosen. They're dating for ego. And that is the problem.
In case the world wasn't already dark enough for you this morning, this teacher has been charged with a 15-year-old student, which I would like to add, there's been hundreds and hundreds of cases in 2025 of female teachers perpetrating crimes onto children in schools. But if you thought that this situation couldn't get any worse, it gets a lot worse when you realize that the teacher that this little boy will be able to ask for child support because, yes, she is pregnant. Not only did she this kid, not only is she a pervert and a but she now gets to be the victim and make her 15-year-old victim pay for her child. This has been something that has happened many times before. And if you ask me, these women are not facing harsh enough consequences. If we look at the social and legal consequences that happen to male pedophiles, men in general do 3 to 4 times longer prison sentences for the exact same crime as women. So these women are out here diddling these kids and going to jail for 2 months, tops.
You know, Sarah was talking about women date for their ego. And Anissa couldn't believe it. So you don't think that men date for their ego? Well, yes. There are some men out there that are, in fact, dating for ego, right? We can admit that. They're dating for ego. They're not doing the right thing. Yada, yada, yada. There's not much you can do to get away from that. That's what they want. We call them Chad and Tyrone. And even some of these guys who might not be a Chad or a Tyrone. They're dating, they're not doing the right thing. And they need to be called out for it. Hey man, you need to relax. You need to chill. You're not in the space to be dating. You need to go find you some other business because this ain't it. Right? But when we call these men out and we say, hey man, stop doing that. And then we turn around and call women out. Then women don't want to hear it. All of a sudden it's a problem. All of a sudden, oh, you know, I'm healed. I would never date for ego. I'm always dating for love and a whole bunch of stupid stuff.